Welcome back to GMW, and our next guest is Richard Olson, a Milwaukee native with a story woven from resilience, self-discovery, and a passion for holistic wellness. He's driven by his personal transformation. He dedicated to start helping others navigate their own health journeys. Richard's approach emphasizes the interconnectedness of physical and mental well-being, advocating for a balanced and authentic approach to life. Please welcome our special guest, Richard Olson.
Thank you for having me. Honored to be here.
Look, I'm glad to have you. Dan Young had an amazing TEDx event. Shout out to Dan Young and all the volunteers there. And I feel kind of crazy because I kidnapped majority of them.
Yeah.
Right?
And you should have. That's right.
But your story was so inspiring,
Thank
right?
you.
And I heard a lot about you. I mean, he had his own film crew there.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Filming a documentary.
Oh, I forgot about that part, yeah. Documentary from the ground up, it's called, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so tell our viewers who you are and what change you made in your life that you're now impacting others.
There's been a lot. So I am, first of all, no different than anybody else. Let's just state that out of the gate. I love that, people compare. Well, I started somewhere,
Right.
I remember the weight loss journey started about 10 years ago. I had my first daughter. I saw a guy playing with his kids, and I'm like, I am so large at this point. I'm eating my rib, but I can't bend down to grab my beverage, which I quit drinking. At that time, I was drinking beer. And I just watched the guy, and I'm like, that's amazing. I want to be that guy. I was a firefighter at the time. I was doing all these things, but I wasn't taking care of my mind. And that just switched to me, and it made me realize you have one life. What are you doing? Through that, I went through a pretty great, not so great divorce and another relationship, but it's taught me so much. And I get to share it with my kids. You go from a weight loss journey, and you go into, I was weighing 340 pounds at that time. Now I'm on the flip side of that, and I love it. And my passions quickly become teaching people about that. Part of it too is I started working in companies at 19 with no college education. And I always knew there was something different, and I was always able to inspire people for better. And then I think the fun thing is as you grow and you really reflect on who you are as a person, your through line, what's pushed you isn't just because they believed in them, it's because they believed in you. And if you can touch people to that level and change them, it's the world. I mean, what else are we doing?
I know.
Exactly.
125 pounds
Yep.
lost. Like what? And since Janet brought it with her from Australia, we're talking about mindset.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
What was that mindset? Like, how did that mindset, what was the first thing that popped in your mind, or affirmation or declaration in your life that when you saw the Father playing that, you're like, I don't want to be like this. I want to be like that.
Belief that I could do it. I was at one point in my life told I couldn't run because I was built like an offensive lineman. And that sparked something. Like everybody talks about your why, right? They talk about, my kids, which is cool. But it's more than that. It's the people who don't believe in you too, just as much as the people that believe in you.
Yeah.
So I took that energy and went, no.
Right.
And in fact, the first time I ran around the block, I did it with a sweatshirt on, and I made it a block, and I threw up.
Oh, wow.
Now last year I did rim to rim to rim with a group of people at the Grand Canyon, which is 51 miles, and pretty crazy. But to me, that was the big thing. That not only do you believe that you can do it, I think the flip side is you got to believe you deserve it.
Wow. Okay.
And I think we often miss that, right? No matter what it may be, whether it's financial, physical, whatever, but you do deserve it. Everybody deserves it.
Right.
You just got to believe it, and your past trauma holds you to that standard that, no, I don't deserve it. Yeah, you do. You do.
So I love the parallel here, right? So Janet sat in the seat and she talked about that pain, right? And turning it into fuel. And you're pretty much saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
On every side. Because the people that say, the naysayers, that's pain, right? When someone looks at you and says you can't, you won't, that's pain. But when you can recognize it and change that mindset and push it to get, where you want to be, I think that's awesome. And like you said, everybody deserves it.
Everybody.
Everybody.
So like no matter where you're at in life, you can start.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like my story, a lot of people don't realize, like when I talk about my worst state, that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I was drinking too much. I was not the parent my daughters deserved. And I have two amazing daughters. Like I love them. I think the world of them. They've been through a lot that I put them through. They didn't deserve it. And a lot of the divorce stuff, but that was 4 years ago and I made a change. Like you were just, I looked in the mirror like you were just talking about and just said, enough.
Yeah.
Let's go. And that's powerful. And then you get around the right people with the right mindsets. Janet and I are similar because we're very similar mindsets. She's an amazing person.
Yes.
I work with Janet, by the way. So.
Oh, do you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're both kind of, we feed off each other. So I would absolutely go with Janet.
Not the plug, but we're going to plug
it.
Janet.
You're welcome.
Yeah, right.
It's all about being around the right people,
That's
and that's
right.
the other thing.
Yeah.
So I'd get in the room, like I would purposely go out. So I would get up in the morning at this time, like 4. I get up at 3:30 now. And I would go to the gym. And I would go listen to motivational stuff like Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
Les Brown's one of my favorites. And then I would go every morning play basketball. So I can twirl like that, by the way. But at 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning, and I would listen to Steve Harvey. And I would just do these certain things because I knew you have to chip away at it. It's not going to happen overnight. Like the misconception is, oh, he's here, or you're here. Yeah, like your story is amazing too. I was inspired listening to you yesterday.
Thank you.
But it starts somewhere. It starts with just believing in yourself and go.
Now going down that rabbit hole, right, of mindset, putting energy into it, putting effort into it, and where you are now, what are you doing now to spread the wellness word, the words of wellness to others?
I just speak about it. Like I'm so open and so vulnerable that people sometimes are turned off by it because as Americans we're taught like, we're not going through. Everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
So whether it's in the gym or just walking down the street and people want to talk about it, I openly talk about absolutely every failure in my life as well as successes. But you talk about them both so they realize, oh, you too? Yeah. Like me too. Like I've struggled with the same stuff you guys have probably struggled with.
That's the relatable part. Once you can get someone that can relate on something,
Right.
That's it. That's the humanity part.
Right, and I love that. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about balance and how balance has worked for you? Because a lot of times, like Janet said, she was a workaholic and that was her thing. And for some of us, when it gets heavy, it's this thing. They're in the gym all the time, but the rest of their life is kind of going downhill. Can you talk to us about the balance and how you kind of make these things work?
Still trying figuring that one out.
Okay.
So, but that's reality. That's
Right?
reality.
It is.
I think we all still try to figure it out.
But you have to have
better.
some balance.
Yeah, like so
Right?
I realized quickly like my coping was overworking.
Got it.
So I had to go back to my inner child and figure out why was I coping?
Yeah.
Because I was so like I was seeking approval from my mom and dad that weren't there when I was a kid, and you really go back to that, and it sounds so
No, it doesn't.
awkward, but it's
No, it
really what it
doesn't.
is.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
You know, what I love about all of this is if you think about the Black community, a lot of times we were taught, especially our age, that,
Hold on. What you mean our age?
well,
You're young.
probably
You're
older.
younger than all of
I'm
us.
actually,
I'm 21.
I'm 35 on the weekends, but however, but in the Black community, it's kind of taboo to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
To talk about the things.
It wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing.
Whatever happened in this house kind of stayed in this house, and
Yeah.
so it's very important to talk about those things, especially acceptance and wanting to make your parents or your children proud of who you are. And like she said, as long as you wake up in the morning, you still have breath to make that change.
Yep.
So I love that you said that, and you can renegotiate your agreements. You know what I mean? So what you were taught and what you were told was the best that they had at the time.
Best tool they
But
had.
now that you know better, you can do better, right? So renegotiating those agreements, something that you were taught before may not be for you now. And by renegotiating those, you can create the life that you want to have as many times as you need to have it.
Yep, and constantly challenging it.
Yes.
Renegotiating
The agreement.
those agreements. And you're so right. And it's like, I used to have this thing called this theory called the sandbox theory, right? That you have a white woman, white man, black woman, black man, and and this is my experience. When it came to the black woman, it was you don't need a man. When it came to a black man, it was go get it.
Yep.
Don't show no emotion.
And let me be
no
clear.
Crying.
As a black woman, you
Same
do need
here.
a man. I want a man.
Yeah, she done turned this thing into 10.
We should talk about that.
I just figure since I'm on here, I'd throw it out there.
No,
As a white male, I'm searching too, but not for a man.
Exactly.
Definitely not for a man.
Listen, we gotta say it. We gotta say
No,
it.
you gotta put it out there in the
yeah,
universe.
yeah.
This is important though. Let me speak on that real second. Like,
Yes.
One thing I realized is part of my failed relationships, it's super easy to play the victim.
Yeah.
It wasn't all their fault.
No.
It was stuff I was doing because of my past trauma.
Exactly.
And then once you stop victimizing that and go, oh, now I've got a list of what I do and don't want.
What I do
Yes.
and don't want, but you get that.
But I send that out to the females that I'm attracted to. I'm like, hey, if you don't, this is my life plan. Like, if you don't like it, it's cool.
It's cool.
We should have a whole show. I got
We
a
should.
whole theory.
Invite me back.
I can talk about this all
I got
day.
a whole theory called happily divorced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Show here on DETV. Stay
Yeah.
tuned. No, but what I found out is being an adult now, we struggle, or there's a hidden factor of things that haunted us in the past. So like you said, I have cousins that grew up down south and weren't allowed to say anything about other family members that was doing things to them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And now that they're adults, they can't have positive relationships with anybody. You know what I mean? But so it's one of those things that we have to make sure that now as adults that, okay, our mindset, it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
And that's a thing now, right?
Yep.
So I think everyone needs therapy.
Yep.
Just to talk and to figure out, where we are and where you are. But no, the weight loss journey, a lot of people, I'm big, and I'm trying to lose some weight too. I found out, like with me, digging down deep inside of me, a lot of mine is emotional eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eating, I learned with me and the friends around me, like my man Kerwin, he'll tell me who I am exactly. And I'm like, you know what, you're damn right. Because what it is with me is I hoard stuff that I can't control or afraid to control. Yeah. So when it comes to eating, it's like emotional eating because you're working 15, 20 hours a day, right? You're eating and all that. Like, how do you get past that? How do you get past how do you change your routine when it becomes hard, when it is hard for you?
It takes time. But then also you've got to switch your mindset. Like, it's not the diet. It's not a diet. Like, if you think you're going to fail. Okay. If you look at food as a fuel, that's the difference maker. That was for me anyway. Like, I went from, and I cook a lot. Like, I do competition barbecue. I can decorate cakes. I can do all the fun things. Like, I love cooking. Like, you come to my house in Wisconsin, anybody, I will feed you.
Sound like a house party.
Like,
Sound
there's
like
no
an invite to a house party. No,
no, I'm that guy. That's how I am.
A bunch of brothers at your house in Wisconsin getting cheese.
For my 40th, I did like 8 chickens, 8 racks of ribs, and 8 pork butts on my big smoker.
What don't you eat? Because I mean, like,
so I didn't eat that though.
Okay, all right.
I will feed you.
So even through all of that, you were disciplined.
Yep, discipline's huge. Like, discipline is like you have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I go like I eat a certain grams of like rice and chicken, and I start eating certain things.
Yeah.
And I stick to it. Because I know the result I want.
Yeah.
Do you set up, again, like you said, don't say diets. Do you set up plans to help people?
I'm working on that right now. So I'm quickly going from, identified with my career. So part of the story is I lost my identity. I was building a company, which I built by like 30 something, I don't know. But it was a $0 to $22 million company. No reason to do it, but I did it, and then I identified with it, right? So now I've got a packaging company, and all I do is bring in people that want to make a life change. So we work more on themselves than we do on the business.
Right.
And now I've got a platform that I'm working with a team called the One Fitness, and what we're doing is we're actually doing just that. We're setting it up. We're not there yet. We're just starting. But just to change lives, and that's what it's all about. Like, you were talking earlier about servant life. Like, if you flip it from about financial and success to like, I just want to help people.
Yeah.
What does the money matter anyway?
Yeah.
It'll come if it needs to. If not, if it doesn't light you up, what's the difference? If you're happy with your life and you can change lives, that's what it's all about.
I attest to that. I work in education.
Oh, nice.
So, we're the most underpaid people ever, right? But I do it every day because of the students that I see every day. I love them, and my purpose is to help them.
Love it. All right, that's your camera right there. Which one is it, Brandon?
That one?
The Robo one. The one looks like little Gary Coleman.
There we are.
All right, there you go. You got 30 seconds. Tell people, what you want them to know about you.
We're all the same. I think that's, with me, like, that's the one thing I realized. We're all the same. Nobody's different. Everybody's fighting something. So when you're walking down the street and you're saying hi to somebody and you think, wow, they were kind of off. Well, maybe they are. Just ask them why. Or, don't take it on yourself. And then make that life change. Anybody can make that change at any time. I'm living proof to that. I don't have a college education. I barely passed high school, which is hard when I taught my kids about going to college. But I love it. And just get passionate about something, whatever it is, and then change lives. I mean, to me, that's the biggest way to do it.
It is so simple.
It's so simple.
But we make it hard.
We do.
We make it extremely hard.
We make it hard. Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For coming.
Yeah, appreciate
Love
it.
your story.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
We're gonna go to Wisconsin and get some of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
the
will cook
party.
for anybody. Yeah, let's do
Party
it.
house.
I'm telling you, have a bunch of brothers and sisters. Is there a lot of black people in Wisconsin?
No.
All right, it's gonna be there
But
Friday
we'll bring
night.
them.
Bring them.
We said,
But here,
get the address right.
My boxing coach is, and he's coming. We're going to do from the ground up.
Yeah.
When that's all done, we're going to do a viewing party, hopefully at the theater in town.
Okay.
Awesome.
Look, how far is Wisconsin from here?
Far.
Far. All I know about Wisconsin is far.
It's far.
Far away.
It is a 2-hour flight.
Oh, that's not
Easy.
that far.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
easy.
yeah. Oh, we can do that. We all going.
Yeah.
DETV sponsorship.
I love it.
Wisconsin. All right, brother. Thanks again
Thanks
for
a lot.
coming.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
so
Super
much.
grateful.
Where can people follow you on social?
At richolson.7
Okay.
on my Instagram, or Rich Olson on Facebook.
Okay.
The One Fitness is another platform we're working on.
All right.
I do have a podcast too.
Go ahead.
Dad Life Triumphs podcast.
Love it.
That's still a work in progress, but that's all
okay.
about just being a dad and being vulnerable.
I love
with
it.
Having 2 daughters.
Oh, nice.
And then my friend Mike and I do it together, and he has a daughter as well, so we just talk about it.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
So a little bit
Girl
of everything.
dad.
Yeah, girl dad.
Girl
That's what,
I'm a girl mom.
Oh, awesome.
Girl dad.
Okay. Yeah. Girl mom.
But that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Real simple. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for coming,
Thank you.
bro.
Super
Appreciate
grateful.
it.
Thank you.
Very grateful.
We're going to come back with, you know what, the model, the tone of the store of DETV today is taking pain and turning it into your future, to fortune. And up next to talk about fortune and pain. What was it? How the song go? Pain.
Is it a joy and pain? Yeah, yeah.
Right? Joy and pain.
Sunshine and rain.
Hold on, don't say no more. We don't got
Okay,
no rights
got
to
it.
that. No rights to that one. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned. We're coming back with Alicia Cooper Wells and my main man, Chris Pitt. The people that are just taking real estate, but they changed their mindset first to now helping the community purchase and bring affordable housing to the community. All right, we'll be back, and you don't want to miss this, not at all, because after that, we got something really good for you.